Find the equation of the line that passes through the point 1, 2, that is parallel to the line 2x minus y equals 7. So there's a set of axes here. We can let the horizontal axis be x and the vertical axis be y. And first thing to do is plot the point 1, 2, and the point 1, 2 falls right there. Now the second thing we want to do is we want to figure out what the slope is of the line 2x minus y equals 7, because the line that we're going to draw is going to pass through this point, but it's going to have the same slope as this line it's parallel to. In order to do that, what we'll need to do is take this equation and write it in what is known as the slope-intercept form of a line. And that slope-intercept form of a line is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So let's start into that for the line 2x minus y is equal to 7. So in order to put it into this form, we want to isolate y on the left-hand side of the equation. So the first step will be to subtract 2x from both sides of the equation. That will leave us to minus y on the left-hand side when you subtract 2x from the left-hand side. When you subtract 2x from the right-hand side, you get minus 2x plus 7. But again, we want to have y by itself on the left-hand side, and right now we have a negative y, so we want to multiply both sides of this equation by negative 1. When you multiply the left-hand side by negative 1, you get y. When you multiply the right-hand side by negative 1, you get 2x minus 7. So if you do the pattern matching here, m, the slope of the line, is 2, and b, the y-intercept, is negative 7. So let's go ahead and plot that point. So if it has a y-intercept of negative 7, that line passes through this point right here. So now that we have the y-intercept, we know that the slope in this case is equal to 2, and that says the line will rise 2 for every 1 unit that it runs. So it will pass through this point as well. And from those two, you can draw the line. It's going to pass through the y-intercept and also run off in about this direction right here. So the line that we're looking for is parallel to this line right here, and yet goes through this point. So you can kind of picture what that line will look like. It'll look something like that. So we know that that line that we're looking for will also have a slope of 2. So we use something known as the point slope form of the line to determine its equation. And the point slope form of a line is y minus y0 is equal to m times x minus x0. Now the x0, y0 point that we've been given in this case is the point 1, 2, which is right there. So we have those two parameters, 1 and 2. We also know that the slope of the line is the same as the slope of the first line, so m is equal to 2. Plugging back into this formula, what we have is we have y minus 2 is equal to m, which is also 2, x minus 1. Now, it'd be perfectly fine to leave it in that fashion, but if you want to go ahead and multiply it out, you have y minus 2 is equal to 2x minus 2, And if we would like to put that into slope-intercept form, for example, we would add 2 to both sides of that equation. And when you add 2 to the left-hand side, you get y. And when you add 2 to the right-hand side, you get 2x. So y equals 2x is the equation of the line that passes through the point 1, 2 and is parallel to this other line. And if you wanted to plot that line would look something like this. Notice that it passes through the origin, and the reason that it passes through the origin is it has a slope of 2 and an intercept of 0.